We're gonna do each one's rig, so if you guys want to hang out for this one or whatever works for you. So whenever we do an inspection, we always want to start in the same place and finish in the same place. So when we start, when officers on the side of the road, when we do level 1s, 2s, or 3s on commercial vehicles, we always start right here at this corner. And the reason for that is because typically if I stop you on the side of the road, I don't want to start here and then work my way back this way, and then when I'm walking back up I have traffic coming up behind me. So if I start here as I'm walking along the side of your vehicle on the roadside, I'm going to be watching traffic coming at me. It's important to make sure that you do it systematic and you do it the exact same way every single time, okay? If I start here and then I jump, oh yeah, I need to check to see the tread on this tire because I remember it looking a little weird, and then I go back over there, I'm going to miss something, okay? So it's important to make sure that you start in one spot, work your way around, and then come back and end in the same spot. You want to check your lights, obviously, blinkers, windshield wipers, horn. Defroster's another big one. When I worked down in Santa Barbara, there was this weird thing where you'd be driving down the 101 and like instantly your windshield was fogged up. I remember a couple years back they had a pretty big crash by the tunnels because of that. People didn't know what to do and they were hitting the brakes, and you can't see. It's like instantly you can't see as you're driving on the freeway. So defroster's another good one to check. As I'm walking around, your lights, we'll say for instance, you're going to turn on your lights. Sometimes those blinkers and the brake lights are on different circuits, so even though that the flasher is going to work, doesn't necessarily mean that the brake light's going to work. So having somebody with you. Some people have a convex mirror, something that you can see the reflection on. They have a little metal adjustable metal stick that you can kind of wedge in there. Of course, you're still going to leave it in park, right? But just to depress the brake, okay? Front tires, they recommend nothing less than like 4/32. You can get a tiny little, tire tread depth to check that. People walk around, obviously the best way to check your tire pressure is with the tire pressure gauge. A lot of people that do it commercially, for a living, they end up, kicking the tire. And they go by the sound. Now, kicking the tire, you end up building up some kind of expertise when you do it on a regular basis. So the best, obviously, checking it with the tire pressure gauge. But if you do it for a living and you do it all the time, you can end up listening to it and saying, hey, that doesn't sound right. Let me get the tire pressure gauge and check it. So I kind of walk along the side, looking at glass, making sure windshield's all that, none of that's cracked. You walk along the side, and then one of the biggest things that we're going to get to here is obviously the connection between the trailer and the truck. The chains, you want to make sure that there's a positive retention on the chains. And what I mean by that is these little clips here. So if you see these end up breaking off pretty regular, so you need that positive retention. The other thing is you want to have your breakaway, you want it connected to the truck, okay? That's probably one of the biggest things we see is that it's connected to the chain.
Mine is connected to the hitch, so should I go through the actual bumper?
No, you're good. That's good. But you wouldn't want it clipped onto the chain. That's probably one of the biggest things we see. So that one's actually through the hitch and connected to itself. That's good. The idea behind the breakaway is that if, hopefully it never happens, but if for some reason the trailer and the truck come disconnected, that breakaway is designed to set the brakes on the trailer. It's important to check that every now and then too, because a lot of these, it's just a battery, right? Those batteries don't last forever. So 10-year-old battery might not have any juice in it. So the way you check that is you actually pull the pin on that breakaway on the battery and then try and pull your truck forward to see if those brakes were set, okay? Some they charge themselves, some they don't. Make sure the lights are working on the trailer too, the blinkers, because sometimes that connection is just not seated properly. And then as you work your way around, you're checking the tires on the trailer as well, making sure there's no loose pieces of metal or anything that could possibly fall off while you're traveling down the road. and then you end up just coming back around and doing the same thing, ending at the front.